Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Johnny TCG video. I'm Johnny TCG. I'm excited to see you here today. Today we're talking about OP05 Purple Luffy, one of the more popular Luffy leaders. There are a ton of Luffy leaders in the One Piece trading card game, and this is one you're probably going to see pretty often. Now, in EB02, we get the new green-purple Luffy leader, which might be more popular depending on if people are actually going to be able to get their hands on the cards. This leader has always been solid since he was released, but in recent times, he got some new support between the starter deck and Gum Gum Giant, the event that people love, that people hate. One of the strongest cards in the game, no doubt. But with green purple Luffy on the horizon for EB02, is this leader still going to be played at all? Is he still any good? These are the questions I have. In today's video, we're going to be doing a deck breakdown, taking a look at all the cards in the deck. Then we've got a custom leader giveaway. Editor show a preview of the custom leader we're giving away today. Boom. Then, of course, we're going to take this deck to the sim, see how it does, and then talk about it afterwards. If you like the content, if you want to stay up to date, consider hitting that subscribe button. Let's get into the deck profile. For those that don't know, Purple Luffy is a 5-life, 5,000 power mono purple leader. He's got the ability of activate main once per turn. You may take the top card of your life and add it to your hand. Then if your Don count is 0 or 3, you may then ramp a Don as active. What the whole point of this leader is just ramp really fast, play big bodies that your opponent can't keep up with. With the inclusion of Luffy Taro in the new starter deck, he also had a new way of swarming the board as well, which was really strong. This leader is just all about ramping and then throwing down big bodies, overwhelming your opponent, and yeah, hopefully winning the game sooner rather than later. Even if you can't overwhelm your opponent early on, you still have a lot of ways to survive, whether it be a variety of blockers, and then of course Gum Gum Giant, which is just the event card that keeps on giving. Taking a look at the deck list, we've got 3 copies of the 4-cost 1,000 power EB01 Mr. Tube on clay. He's got 1k counter, but what he's really good for is on play ramping a Don as active. This is a great way to ramp Don without taking life. Sometimes there will be situations in which you really don't feel comfortable taking life, and you can just play Bon Clay and ramp a Don instead. And then he also has the when attacking ability of copying the base power of one of your opponent's characters. Of course, he is 1,000 power, so on the clapback, he's probably going to get KO'd relatively easily, but at least you'll get one good swing out of him. Up next, I'm running 3 of the 5-cost 4,000 power Franoskes from OP05. This is mostly a 2k counter, but as you'll see in the gameplay, he can come in handy. It's kind of crazy that I actually used his ability. I never really thought I would, but there are circumstances when you can give him a Don, and then if you have 8 or more Don cards on the field, he gets Rush. This could win you a game. We'll see if that happened in the games today. Next up, we have 3 of the 5-cost 6,000 power Eustace Captain Kid blockers from OP05. As you can see, we're running so many 3-ofs in this deck. One thing about Purple Luffy is, while the core is the same, you're going to have your 4 of Luffy Taros, your Zoro Joros, your Sangoros, your Uso Hachis. There are so many spots you can tech for. Some people might run 4 Eustace Captain Kids. That's not crazy. Others might not run any Eustace Captain Kids, and that's not crazy either. That's one thing about Purple Luffy that is pretty interesting, and why you should maybe give it a try yourself and see what you like. Kid's ability, though, for those that don't know, is that when a Don is returned to your Don deck, you can then ramp a Don as active. This is a great card if you're going second. On your second turn after you ramp, you'll be at 5 Don. You can play him out, and then on the next turn, you can do Luffy Taro into another body, and then with Luffy Taro's ability minusing Don, Eustace Kid gets it right back, so you're still on track. 3 6-cost 6,000 power 2k counter Sanjis from OP07. This blocker, I should probably bump this up to 4 and then bring down the Franoskes. I don't know if it actually matters, but this card can come in handy sometimes. Besides being a 2k blocker, he also has the ability, if you have 2 or less Don than your opponent, you get to play this card for 3 cost. Hypothetically, this is a great deal. Unfortunately, in the current meta, that is likely to be a lot of green purple Luffys who are usually lower in Don than you. You might not be able to pull that trick off often. Next, we're running 3 of the 9-cost 9,000 power Charlotte Linlands from OP08. I'm absolutely in love with this card. On play, Don -1, trash 1 card from your hand. Then you get to add the top card of your deck to your life, and then add one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less to their life at the top or bottom. Now, unfortunately, Green Purple Luffy does have a stage that can bump the cost of some of their characters to put them out of range of this effect. That's a bummer, but it is what it is. I still think this is a great card to include in your deck. 2 of the 7-cost 7,000 power Rush Sanjis from OP09. This is an on-play, return 1 or more Don to your Don deck. If you do that, you get to rest one of your opponent's cost 6 or less characters. Then this character also gains Rush. This is a great way to go for game, resting one of your opponent's blockers and just swinging for life, or resting an opponent's opponent's character that's going to be important for their next turn so that you can get it off the board before they can get value from them. Next up, we have 4 Trafalgar Laws. This is just your classic 1 cost 2000 power searcher, looking at the top 4 for a cost 2 or greater Straw Hat Crew card or Heart Pirates. Not a lot to say about that. 2 Nico Robins from OP09. This is just your typical chump blocker, 2 cost, 2000 power, 1k of counter. Not a lot to say about her. This is a spot in the deck list that a lot of people will have their own fun spice in there. I think having a 2 cost blocker right now makes sense, but if you don't, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments down below. We're running 2 of the 9 cost, 10,000 power secret rare Monkey D. Luffys from OP09. On play, you can return 1 Don or more. You get to draw a card and then it also gains rush. Now, this card is really strong. I really like it, especially if you can cheat it out early. Unfortunately though, I just can't justify putting it at more than 2, at least for me personally. You may like it at 3, but so far 2 is probably the best I'm going to do with it. A little bit of spice here. Starter deck 10 Trafalgar Law, 4 cost, 5000 power. He's a blocker with the on play Don -1. If your opponent has 7 or more cards in their hand, you get to trash 2 cards from their hand. Now this is very situational. I usually save it towards the end of the game. That's when I think he's best served. In the beginning of the game on curve, I prefer not to play him. Sometimes I will, but like it's not ideal, at least in my opinion. I prefer this as a late in the game situation where maybe I already have a Eustace Captain Kid up and I'm just going to block her up a little bit more one turn, throw that down, return a Don, restand a Don with Kid. I like him. If you tell me I'm crazy though, I'll definitely hear you out. 4 Usohachis, starter deck 18, 3 cost, 3000 power, 2k counter with the ability of if you have 8 Don or more, rest one of your opponent's characters of a cost of 5 or less. This on play, one of the best on plays to utilize when you're going for game. Not a lot to say about this. You're going to see it a lot in the current meta between this deck and Green Purple Luffy. 2 Onamis. This is a card, like I said, you could run her at 0, you could run her at 4. Either way is completely valid. I'm running her at 2, a 4 cost 2000 power blocker with the ability of if you have 8 or more Don on your field, you trash 1, draw 2. This is a great ability, especially late game. The thing is, I don't know what to cut sometimes. If you have suggestions, I'm down to hear you out. But right now, I just have her at 2. There are definitely times late in the game which I wish I had her to filter out my hand, find those Gum Gum Giants, but it is what it is. I'm running her at 2. Let me know your thoughts. Of course, we've got Sangoro in this deck, 5 cost, 6000 power from starter deck 18. When attacking, if you have 8 or more Don, draw 1 card. This is your best target usually for Luffy Taro. Luffy Taro, 7 cost, 8000 power. On play, Don -1. Play up to 1 purple Straw Hat Crew type character with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. On our 3rd turn, we love playing out Luffy into Sangoro, just setting you up amazing to get continuous card draw. If you can keep him on the field, you are going to set yourself up for success. Usually your opponent's going to prioritize getting him off the field though, just because he's so strong. 4 Zorojuro from the same starter deck, 4 cost, 6000 power. 4 of the 4 cost, 6000 power Zorojuros. He's actually a souped up searcher. On play, you look at the top 5 for a purple Straw Hat Crew type card. This is a great way to find your Gum Gum Giants, or early in the game when you're looking for a Luffy Taro or Sangoro. Not a lot to say about him. He's probably going to be your best turn 2 bet if you're on the odd curve, which we usually prefer to go. Luffy Taro, just talked about him, staple in this deck of course, at least in this build. I guess there could be someone out there running a spicy build with not the Luffy Taro package. If you're out there, let me know, but yeah, that seems a little bit crazy at the moment. On to the events. Of course, we've got the 0 cost 3000 power counter event Gum Gum Jet Gatling. Trash a card from your hand, give your leader or one of your characters plus 3000 power. It's as simple as that. It also has the trigger that lets you ramp a Don as active. This could come in handy depending on the situation. Not a lot to say about this card. It's gotten very expensive recently, so if you're not going to run it in your deck, I think that's completely valid. I'm running 1 Gamma Knife as a tech, 2 cost, Don -1, give up to one of your opponent's characters -5000 power. This is a really useful card. I think only 1 is necessary just because of course it is very circumstantial and the deck is filled with other cards you need, but it can come in handy against Eustace Captain Kid. It can be great against some of the characters Purple Luffy is going to be playing. It's going to be great. I think this is definitely valid 1 of. And then last but not least, we have Gum Gum Giant, a 1 cost counter event. Don -2, you may trash a card from your hand, then you draw 2, give plus 4000 power to one of your leaders or characters. This is one of the best cards in the game right now. Some people want it banned. It's just insane how late game you can just do Hail Marys, trash a card from your hand with no counter, get 2 cards back. You could hypothetically get 4k worth of counter. If you have extra Don up, you could hypothetically draw into another Gum Gum Giant, which is insane. The verdict of this video, in my opinion, basically is no, Purple Luffy will still be meta relevant just because Gum Gum Giant exists and it can win you games in certain situations. You'll see in the gameplay just how strong this card is. I am not lying. That's the deck list I got for you today, folks. There are so many cards you should consider in this list, though. 2 cost Tony Chopper blocker, 5 cost Tony Chopper blocker, Queen blocker. I even saw a spicy list that won a tournament in Japan running Eustace Captain Kid, the 7 cost from starter deck 10. Now that is not something you see every day, but I mean, they found success with it, so maybe it's worth a shot. Now it's time for the moment everyone's been waiting for, the giveaway for a custom Luffy leader card. All you have to do to enter this giveaway is 1, leave a like, and 2, leave a comment. If this video gets 30 likes in the first 24 hours, I will choose a random US-based commenter and send it to you for completely free. Take a look at that card, everyone. It is so nice. I am not the artist. I am not selling this. This comes from the One Piece Treasure Cruise game. So if you want it, like, comment, and hopefully we get to 30 likes in the first 24 hours. If you like the content, consider hitting that subscribe button as well. You're ready for the gameplay. Editor, roll it. Our first game of the day is going to be against Green Purple Luffy. Let me know in the comments down below if you are tired of seeing Green Purple Luffy matchups. I think they're pretty relevant to the current meta and worth including. But if you're tired of seeing Green Purple Luffy all over YouTube, I get it as well. We are on the odd curve. We don't have anything to play turn 1, but turn 2 we will be able to play down that Zoro, which is great for us. We're going to swing 5,000 with our leader starting off. They will take it, which I believe most Green Purple Luffys take their first life or two. We'll do the Zoro search. We do find the Luffy Taro, which will be great to combo with Sangoro next turn. They're going to start off by giving 1 Don to their leader, swing 6,000 at us. We will absolutely take that. We get the Zoro out of our life, which isn't necessarily great, but it is what it is. That's a card we could potentially trash with Gum Gum Giant. They're going to play out the Frankie and then pass it back to us. We'll start off with a 5,000 power swing from our leader, just poking and prodding. Then we'll do a 6,000 swing with Zoro and the Luffy Taro combo. They will counter out of that 5,000 swing. They will take the 6,000 power swing, and now we're going Luffy Taro into Sangoro. I'll pass it back to them, and even though we do have a pretty solid board with a decent hand, I'm still a little bit nervous. Green Purple Luffy shenanigans can make the game turn on you real quick. They do have 7 down to work with this turn. We could see the Sanji and Pudding. They're going to start with the 5,000 power leader swing, which catches me off guard a little bit. 5,000. I'm thinking we do counter out of this. We'll give them the 1k Nico Robin. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point in the game, they could start doing some crazy stuff with rushers, and so I might as well just start countering out a little bit. They will have the Sanji and Pudding. They actually do not do that in the right order. They could have swung 6,000 at us. Even if they did swing 6,000, we would have still countered out of that as well, so it's not the biggest of deals. 4,000 now with their Frankie. This is just to ramp Don. With 5 Don left up, they will have another Sanji and Pudding, and now next turn, they're going to be in an amazing spot. I make a little bit of a misplay here. I should have swung 5,000 into the Frankie. The reason I swung 6,000 with the Sangoro first is just to see what card I draw and see how that impacts my turn. But I really should have just swung 5,000 with my leader, so shame on me there. They are going to counter out of that 6,000 power swing with Zoro. Now I'm going to swing 6,000 with our leader. We do not have another Luffy Taro this turn. That would be pretty strong, especially cheating out another Sangoro or a Zoro. They take 2 hits in a row, which definitely catches me off guard. I'm wondering if their hand is just bricked, or I don't know, maybe they're playing some mind games. Off the Zoro, we will find the 2k counter Uso Hachi. That's great news. And then we'll play down the 2 cost Nico Robin chump blocker. They are at 9 Don, which is pretty crazy, but I do still think we are in a really good spot. We've got a Don up for our Gum Gum Giant. Maybe I spoke too soon. They do have the 3 cost Electrical Luna event that freezes my Zoro, Luffy Taro, and Sangoro. That came in the clutch for them. That is going to mean next turn I really can't go for game unless maybe I top deck the Rush OP09 Sanji. They're going to play down to Zoro. They find a Sanji from OP07 using leader ability. They're returning Don. Sanji and Pudding get them Don back. They still have 6 Don to work with. They're going to play another stage over their other stage, which allows them to draw a card. They do have the 2 cost blocker Tony Chopper as well. Now they can swing 7,000 with their Sanji and Pudding. We will take that just to see what we get. We get the Mr. Tube on clay. That's not crazy. We will then block their second Sanji and Pudding swing. 3 Don left up for them to work with. They can still swing with their leader, who is 6,000 power. They'll give a Don to their leader, swing 7,000 at us, and I'm thinking we do counter out of this, keeping our life at 1. I don't want to go down to 0 against this deck. We are in an awkward situation here just because while we do have a board full of characters, all of them basically are rested and we can't get any value from them, and they developed their own board, which is quite strong. They've got 2 Don up, presumably for Gum Gum Giants, so there is not necessarily an easy way out of this situation. I could use Usohachi to rest the Tony Chopper, but I do not have faith that playing down the Usohachi and then swinging big with Zoro would necessarily be enough. I'm thinking here we maybe just poke 6,000 with the Zoro. I do have 1 blocker in my hand and a Gum Gum Giant of my own. I'm actually going to go with the Luffy Taro play, playing out a Zoro, trying to just search for a potentially counter or another Gum Gum Giant. We do find a Gum Gum Giant. That Sanji 7 cost is tempting though, so I do consider taking him. I do go with the Gum Gum Giant though, just because that card is so good and will hopefully keep me alive next turn. Not playing a blocker out here is certainly a risk, but it's a risk I just have to take. They will block that 6,000 power swing with Tony Chopper, which is a little bit surprising. Now we'll just swing 6,000 with our leader. They give us the 2k and I'll pass it back to them. We've got 2 Gum Gum Giants of our own, a couple of 2ks in our hand, and then the 1k counter Sangoro. We've got Gamma Knife as well, which I do not think will be very useful at this point. They've got 10 Don to work with. We could likely see them just go for game here. I mean, they'll start with a 6,000 power swing of Zoro into our leader. I'm thinking we definitely 2k counter out of this. I've got a feeling they're just going to poke with their characters, then eventually throw down the Rush Luffy that can restand itself. Now 7,000 with their first Sanji inputting. I will use the Gum Gum Giant to get out of that. 7,000 now with their other Sanji inputting. I'll 2k 1k out of that. Now our hand is 1 Gum Gum Giant and 2 2ks and then a brick. They will have that Rush Secret Rare Luffy from EB01. They're going to be able to use leader ability, restand a bunch of Don. They could hypothetically play 2 Rush Luffys, which is absolutely insane. 6,000 now with their leader. We'll 2k counter out of that. They'll probably just swing really big with this Luffy, or maybe they'll throw down another one as well. No, they're just going to do 2 big swings. 13,000 now, restanding him. We have to take that, and then I think it's all going to come down to what I get off the Gum Gum Giant. Moment of truth. We get to 9,000. Can we get to 14? We get a 2k. We have 3 1ks. We will be able to survive, and with us surviving and them not having any Don up for any Gum Gum Giants of their own, that is just going to be game. Before I can swing into them, they will concede. That was a really close one. Never count yourself out when you have a Gum Gum Giant in hand. GG's, on to the next one. Our next game up is going to be against a Carrot from OP08. You know, I just did a video on this leader and I absolutely love her in this format. I think if we can ramp fast enough, we should be okay, but we'll see how that goes. They're going to be able to rest some of our early Don plays, which could be troublesome when we're trying to apply pressure early. We're going to be on the odd curve. We'll start out with the Law Search, and we are just going to take that Usohachi 2k, passing it back to them, 2 Don for them to work with. They do have that Wanda Searcher to play down for 1 Don. They'll find the Electrical Luna. I need to be careful. That card is so strong, especially against Purple Luffy. I'll start off with the 5,000 swing at their leader, and they'll take that. Then with 4 Don up, after I use leader ability, I can play down Zoro. Off the Zoro, we have a lot of good options. Sangoro, Luffy Taro, and then the 9 cost Secret Rare Luffy. Honestly, I don't think I can go wrong either way. I'm leaning towards either the Luffy Taro or the 9-drop though. I will go with the Luffy Taro. I'm doing this taking the risk that hopefully I find something better either from my life or from my deck to play off the Luffy Taro than just the 2-cost Nico Robin blocker. They will have the Zo stage to play out, playing that out for 3, restanding a Don. They have 2 Don active now. They'll probably swing 7,000 into the Zoro just trying to clear it, and I think I will keep him alive. This is the annoying thing about Carrot though, is they're going to tax your hand and your board early on in the game. 7,000 and a 6,000, we will definitely counter out of this, and then they'll pass it back to us. Unfortunately, we did not get anything good for the Luffy Taro, which makes me hesitant to play it. I could also go 7-cost Sanji to rush and rest their Wanda, KOing that, but that doesn't feel great either. I'm going to start off with a 5,000 power leader swing into their life. They'll 1k counter out of that, and I'll follow it up with a 6,000 power swing with our Zoro into their life. We'll see if they take this one instead of giving us a 2k counter. I think I'd prefer them to give us a 2k counter just to get them low on card hand size, but it is what it is. I'm really bummed out about our current predicament. Not seeing a Sangoro or another Zoro to play out with this Luffy Taro really stinks. They 2k out of my Zoro swing, and then now I have a choice to make for what card I want to cheat out with Luffy Taro. At first I thought about Nico Robin because she is a blocker, but then I realized she could just rest Nico Robin and then swing into her with Wanda, which would give us absolutely no value, and so I'm thinking Frankie's the better choice here. While Frankie is only a 4,000 power body, given 1 Don, he can swing at their leader, and he can't be cleared by Wanda. They'll rest him with leader ability. They'll probably swing into him. Then they're going to play down the Carrot to freeze the Zoro. Then for 1 Don, they'll play You Can Be My Samurai. I did not realize Carrots played that card in their deck. That is such a good card. I love it in Red Green Odin, but I never considered it in Carrot. They'll swing to clear my Frankie. I let it go, and they'll pass it back to us. I'll start out with a 2,000 power swing into their Wanda with our Law. They'll let that go. 5,000 into their life now with my leader. They'll take that. Now 8,000 with my Luffy Taro. I am being a little bit greedy here because I do know they have an Electrical Luna in their back pocket. I'm going to use leader ability to ramp a Don, take the top card of my life, then I can play down the 9-cost Charlotte Linlin to get rid of that Carrot character. That makes me feel pretty good about where we're at right now. Of course, they will hit us with the Electrical Luna. That's a little bit of a bummer, but not the biggest deal in the world. We're still in a pretty good spot. They'll play out a 5-cost Carrot. That doesn't really get them much value this turn, and then the 1-cost Wanda Searcher as well. Hopefully they don't find another Electrical Luna. They draw the Milky 2K, which is fine. Finding a 2K in this situation is definitely a solid for them. Then 5,000 with their leader and us, and I will just take that. We get the Mr. 2 Bond Clay, which at this point in the game isn't really going to do much for us. Passing it back to us, we're at 10 Don now. I'm leaning towards another Linlin play, or maybe I block her up with an Onami, trying to cycle my cards a little bit. I'll start off with a 5,000 power swing from our leader. I probably should have added another Don to him and then swung 6,000, just because if I'm going to play the Charlotte Linlin, I don't have a Gum Gum Giant to leave up, and I don't really need it to survive next turn. They will counter out of that with a 2K. Now we'll swing 9,000 with the Charlotte Linlin into their life. They will take that, and now it's time for another Charlotte Linlin. We'll trash the Mr. Tube on Clay, gain a life, place a Carrot back to the bottom of their life and pass it back to them. I am healing them a lot, which isn't ideal. We'll see what kind of top end of this Carrot runs. They are now at 10 Don, and they've got a ton of cards in hand. They've got the 10 cost Dofi. That's not a good sign, folks. They're going to be able to freeze my Luffy Taro, my Linlin, and my Zoro. With Zo, they're able to restand a Don as active. They'll swing 2,000 into my Law with their Wanda just to clear it, and then they're going to be able to swing 6,000 into our life, which I will take. Maybe taking that was a little bit questionable. I don't know. I think I'm fine to take that. They'll pass it back to us. Not a lot of great options here. I'm thinking that I should have pressured with leader, with Linlin, and then play down the Rush Sanji instead of maybe going a Luffy Taro Onami play. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. The pros of playing down a Onami is that hopefully I get to search for a Gum Gum Giant or a 9-cost Rush Luffy. I think those would be really good in this situation. We're starting off with a 6,000 power swing from our leader. They will counter out of that with the 2K. Now a 9,000 with one of our Linlins, which they will take. Then we will go Luffy Taro into Onami, but man, do I regret this. I really think I should have went Sanji and then just continued to pressure them. Off the Onami, we do get a 2K counter Sanji blocker and a useless Captain Kid blocker. That's not too bad, but I end up leaving 2 Don up. I could have also maybe played down the Nico Robin blocker, but I would have had to play that over a Luffy Taro, and that feels bad. They'll rest my Onami blocker, play down another 10 cost Dofi, and yeah, I am not in an amazing situation right now. They're going to be able to swing 5,000 or 6,000 if they use stage. They'll swing first with Wanda into my Onami, letting that go, of course. Then they'll restand Adonis active. They're going to be able to swing 6,000 into our life. We will 2K counter out of that. And then 10,000 probably into my life again. Chaining back-to-back Dofis is just so strong. The tide of this game has definitely shifted back into their favor. I'm not sure what to do here. I guess I should just pressure their life a little bit and then throw down a bunch of blockers. I can actually play 3 blockers between the useless Captain Kid and 2 Nico Robins. They'll counter out of the first 5,000 power swing with the 1K counter. Now an 8,000 power swing. They will 2K out of that. Then I'll play down the Eustace Captain Kid. I'm going to play down 2 cost Nico Robins and leave 1 Don up for a potential Gum Gum Giant out of life. This is normally an insanely strong board in terms of the defensive side of things for us. 3 blockers and a Don up and a bunch of 2Ks in hand. But not only do they have their leader ability to rest our Eustace Captain Kid, they've got the Hody Jones to rest our 2 other blockers. That is absolutely insane. This is a crazy turn for them. We still could survive hypothetically though, depending on how they split their Don and what we get out of life. We're going to 1K counter out of that first 5,000 power swing with Wanda. Now they have a Don open. Are they going to go 6 with Carrot? If they do, we can 2K counter out of that. And yes, that's what they'll do. 6,000, we'll give them the 2k counter Sanji. If we can survive here, folks, it's over. I think we'll need Divine Luck, though, and get a Gum Gum Giant out of life. 8,000 now with Hody Jones into us. We will 2k out of that. Ladies and gentlemen, are we going to survive this turn? It is coming down to the wire. 10,000 now with Dofi, of course, we'll take. And unfortunately, no Gum Gum Giant. We just get the 1k counter Bond Clay, so we are short. GG's, I gotta take that final swing. It was a good one though. Super close match. They really changed the tide at the end of the battle, and I gotta respect that. Good game. On to the next one. Now we've got a game against Reiju, blue-purple Reiju from OP06. This is a leader that sometimes I do find difficult to play, especially if they can see their ECGs early. The Porsche ECG combo is just so strong. We are going to be on the odd curve. They're going to be playing on the even curve. They'll start out with one down for the stage. They will draw Germa Kingdom and trash the Vince Milk Reiju. We'll start with the 5,000 power swing into their life. They will take that hit, no trigger, and then we will use our leader ability ramp so we can play Zoro. Off the Zoro, I'm thinking we take the 7 cost Sanji and then I'll pass it back to them. Now this hand was good because I did see that 4 cost Zoro to play early, but at the same time I don't have any 2k counters, so I honestly maybe should have mulliganed. I don't know, you tell me what you would have done in the comments down below. They will see the Porsche for 3 Don. Will they be able to cheat out an ECG? They do cheat out the ECG. You hate to see this, folks. With only 1Ks of counter in hand, I'm in for a long game, or actually it could be a short game depending on how they do their swings. They will cheat out the big ECG, a 7 cost 7,000 power body, giving minus 2,000 power to Zoro. They'll swing 5,000 at us with their leader, which we will 1k counter out of with the Trafalgar Law. Then the 7,000 from ECG we will definitely take, and we do get a 2k counter. The Sanji from OP07, a blocker. Not too bad. We're not in a great spot though. I do use leader ability here on the chance that we can pull a Luffy Taro perhaps. The fact that we didn't though is not the end of the world, because I can still do a Sangoro Nico Robin blocker play or a Zoro Nico Robin play. I don't think I could have gone wrong with either of them. Maybe the Zoro would have been better just because I would have got that card draw instantly and I could keep the Sangoro counter in my hand, but I don't really think it's too big of a deal at the end of the day. They have 4 down to work with. They'll start off their turn by using stage and they will find another ECG. They will have another Porsche as well. Oh my god, we're getting crazy high rolled right now. Porsche in the ECG. Oh, you hate to see it. With their new ECG, they'll give minus 2,000 power to our Zoro. 6,000 into 4,000. I'll let that go. 5,000 with Porsche into our life. I'm thinking we 1k counter out of this. Then we're going to have to take both of these 7,000 power ECG swings, or maybe I counter out of this second one or just block with Nico Robin instead. It's actually crazy just how quickly they were able to put me to lethal, potentially. I'm going to start with a 6,000 power swing with our Sangoro into their Porsche. Just drawing a card is why I swung with Sangoro first. We are going to do an Onami play here. I think that's our safest bet, getting out a blocker that can also draw us 2 cards. Now I'm going to play out another Zoro. They did counter again to save that Porsche, so yeah, not great stuff right now. We do get a Gum Gum Giant off the search, but I already have one in my hand and I only have 1 down up, so I think I'm safer taking a 2k counter right here. Is this about to be one of the fastest losses in Johnny TCG history? They'll start out with a 5,000 power swing from Porsche into our leader. I'm thinking we have to 1k counter out of this. We'll trash the 7 cost Sanji for that. 5,000 with their other Porsche. I am just going to give them a 2k counter here. I hate to over counter, but it is what it is. Now a 5,000 power swing with their Reiju. I wonder what else they have in their hand, what else they're plotting. I'll counter out of the 5,000 power leader swing. 9,000 now with their first ECG. I will take that, kind of enticing them to swing now. 9,000 again, and I will have to Gum Gum Giant out of this. Or actually, I decided to block. I think that makes more sense here. Just playing it safe, using the block, and yeah, keeping that Gum Gum Giant in my hand. Passing it back to us, we are going to be on the clapback. We're going to swing 6,000 into a Porsche, which they let go. Off the Sangoro, we do draw a Mr. Tube on Clay, which isn't anything special, but at least it has counter. We are then going to swing 5,000 into the other Porsche, which they let go. Here, I'm debating on what is best for us. Healing a life with Charlotte Linlin, but not being able to put anything back to their life, or maybe playing down the 9 cost Rush Luffy. I also could go another Onami blocker. Depending on what we find there, we could be in a really good spot. They took the swing from Zoro, and I'm leaning towards Linlin here. It'll allow us to heal a life. The reason I'm doing Linlin over the Monkey D. Luffy is because the Monkey D. Luffy, even though he has Rush and can get rid of one of the ECGs, is the fact that they could bring the ECG back from the trash, so I don't feel great about sending it to the trash. They will play out the pudding, really screwing up my plan except for the fact that we did find another Gum Gum Giant, which is absolutely huge for us. We are going to be able to use that Gum Gum Giant and save our butts right here. This was absolutely divine intervention. I can't believe that I'm actually going to come back and potentially win this game. We really were getting steamrolled in the beginning, but now I think we might be able to win it here. I'm going to start going 7,000 with Sangoro. I think that's the move. I don't think there's any way really I'm going to be able to stay alive if I don't win this turn. We'll start with a 7,000 power Sangoro swing, which they will 2k counter out of. Now I'm thinking I just swing again with Zoro Joro 6,000. If they do counter out of this, I do have the numbers anyway. They will counter out of the 6,000 power swing. 5,000 with leader definitely hits. Now I can actually swing 7,000 with the Franosuke. The Franosuke came in clutch, folks. I never thought I'd see the day. GG's. Our next match is going to be against the Black Rob Lucci from OP07. Released in OP07, but still a menace all the way now in EB02. We are going to mulligan that first hand. We don't really have any great 4-down plays. Now we have a Mr. 2 of on clay at least, which will be good. It'll get instant value on that on play. They are on the even curve. They've got that 2-cost starter deck Uta, which is very nice for them. It's going to be a little bit annoying for me to remove that Uta, so I'm a little bit nervous about it. It could get a lot of value in this game. I'll do a 6,000 power swing with our leader into their leader now. They'll 2k counter out of that, and I'll pass it back to them. Now, normally, I think Rob Lucci's wouldn't be countering out early like that, but I think the move here is for them to play Rob Lucci on turn 2, and they will be able to pop this Bon Clay between their leader ability and this Uta. So, yes, they will have the right amount of cards in their trash to pop the Bon Clay. Maybe I should consider not even swinging into their life in that situation. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. I'm going to start with a 5,000 power swing into their leader. They will take that one, and then we don't even have to use leader ability again. We can just use Luffy Taro and a Sangoro because we had that Bon Clay ramp us one, keeping our life a little bit extra healthy. We couldn't swing into that Uta because of Uta's ability, and so if I could have, I definitely would have, but alas, I cannot. Uta's got the ability to not be KO'd by leader swings. They are going to start off with another 2-cost Uta. This is going to be bad, folks. At least they can't play down another Rob Lucci this turn just because they don't have enough cards in the trash. They might be able to remove one of my characters, but I don't think they'll be able to remove both, which is good enough for me. Next turn, we're in a position where maybe we drop the 9-cost Monkey D. Luffy Rusher using leader ability one time. 5,000 at us now with their leader. I think I have to counter out of this because they're going to swing 6,000 at least with their other Rob Lucci, and I don't want to give them 2 1Ks. That would definitely show that I have no 2Ks in hand and just not be a good look for me. They will swing 6,000 with Lucci, and I will take that. Not getting another 2K, that is a bummer. 4 Don left up for them to work with. They are going to have the Rebecca, which is a great play right now. They'll draw their OP05 Rob Lucci from the trash, play out a Manchery off of Rebecca's ability, which I don't love that Manchery play right now. It will act as a pseudo blocker, which is good for them, but there's no way I'm going to let it stay on the board, and so they're not really getting a ton of value from it. I think they would have been better off keeping that in their hand. I'm going to start with the 6,000 power swing into the Lucci, which they let go. We draw a Gamma Knife, which I don't know how helpful will be in this matchup. Then I'll clear their Manchery with our Luffy swing. Then I'll swing 8,000 with Luffy Taro into their life, and they will take that. Let me know what you think about this move in the comments below. I'm going to be a little bit risky. I'm going to use leader ability again. I'm going to take a life, play down Charlotte Linlin for 9 Don, and then throw one of their Utas back into their life. I absolutely hate the idea of them having 2 Utas on the board, so it really felt like this is my best move. A 9-cost Luffy also wouldn't have been a terrible idea, but going down to 1 life seems a little bit sketchy still early in the game. They're going to start off with a Tempest Kick, trying to find something to do. I'm assuming that they just really need to find something to get at least one of my characters off the board. They haven't decided who to give -3 to. Oh, I guess they couldn't even give -3 because they don't have enough in the trash. That's one thing about playing Rob Lucci early, is that your trash is not going to get filled if you play that 4-cost. 8,000 at our life. We will take that. We've got 3 Gum Gum Giants in our hand, and now I'm feeling pretty safe. They were able to get my Sangoro down to 2 cost because they used the Uta's ability, and they will play another 4-cost Rob Lucci to pop it. That's not the biggest deal in the world. We've got a ton of counter in hand, and I'm not really too worried about that Sangoro. Now I'm just going to clear their board and then go for their life slowly but surely. 8,000 with our Luffy Taro and Uta. They'll give us that. Now I'm thinking we go 5,000 with our leader. This turn, maybe I go Secret Rare Luffy because I'm just like not worried about dying. I've got so much counter in my hand between the Gum Gum Giants, and now I've got a couple of counter cards like Usohachi. Maybe I do go with the Eustace Captain Kidd blocker and the Trafalgar Law blocker, though. I don't think that's a bad idea. They will counter out of my 5,000 leader swing. They will block the 9,000 Charlotte Linland swing. And now I'm going to go with the Eustace Captain Kidd play. To maximize my Don, I'm going to use Trafalgar Law's ability, even though I can't get them to trash any cards from hand. That is a big brain play. Keep note of that if you play purple and are interested in that combo. I think it's really strong in certain situations. I'm going to pass it back to them. Two decent blockers on the field, two big bodies. I think they're going to have trouble dealing with my board now, especially their attacks that they try to get through to life. I've got plenty of Gum Gum Giants that will feed me more cards as well. That's one thing crazy about that card is not only are you countering at an attack, you're getting more cards as well. 5,000 into us. I'm thinking maybe we counter with the Nico Robin, or we just free block. Yeah, we just free block that with the Eustace Captain Kidd. The Eustace Captain Kidd could very well get popped this turn, so we want to get as much value out of it as possible. Now they've got a Laboon. They're going to give -4 to my Eustace Captain Kidd. Maybe the reason they swung first was that they needed to fill up their trash or just do that extra -1. They are going to give -2 with the Sewer to Trafalgar Law and then pop both of those with the 4-cost Rob Lucci. Have they seen 4 of those this game, or maybe just 2 or 3 and they've been recycled? That is crazy. 6,000 now at our leader, I assume. Maybe they'll go 7. Yeah, they'll go 7. Should I Gum Gum Giant this? I think I definitely should. We're going to trash the Sangoro, draw 2, and yeah, we don't really get anything crazy off the draw, but I don't know. Still solid, of course. Now I'm thinking we just clear their board a little bit, take the cards out of their hand. We could also pressure life, but I think it just makes sense to clear their board as much as possible. They'll counter out of that 5,000 power swing. They'll let the Laboon go off the Luffy Taro swing. Now 9,000 into Lucci character, and they will let that go. I'm thinking here we could go Zoro, Joro, maybe into a blocker. Really, I'm overthinking this. 9-cost Secret Rare Luffy is also a great option. It would allow us to draw a card and just continue to put pressure. Instead, I'm going with the Zoro, Joro, just kind of going wide and then also looking for more cards to play. I'm thinking here maybe we go Sangoro as well, setting us up to put a lot of pressure on them next turn. I don't really think I can go wrong in this situation. I do like that 9-cost Secret Rare Luffy. Let me know in the comments if you think I should have played that here just to add more pressure and develop another big body. Zoro Joro Search, though, did bring me a 2K, and that Sangoro will help me get more cards if it stays on the board. They don't really have a lot of cards in hand, so it's going to be hard for them to interact with my board at all. They're going to start with the 5,000 swing into my leader. I think this is just an easy Nico Robin 1K. While she is a blocker, which might make me want to keep her and play her out, 2 cost is easily removed by so many cards in a Lucci deck. I just think I got to get rid of it. 10 Don still up. They'll use a Don for a Tempest Kick. They'll be able to draw a card. They'll be able to give -3 to Charlotte Linland. Between that and leader, she's down to 5, and then they will have the Finger Pistol to get rid of her. That's pretty great for them. I don't think it'll be enough to really change the outcome of this game, but we'll see. 11,000 now with Lucci. We will Gum Gum Giant out of this. It's crazy, but we are going to use a 2K to trash with the Gum Gum Giant. We draw into another 2K, and then we will trash another one. Or should I get rid of Eustace Captain Kidd? I'm going to get rid of the 2K, even though I over-countered. I think having a blocker on board is the move. We can get another card back when we swing with Sangoro. I swing first 8,000 into the Rob Lucci just to guarantee it gets off the board. Now with 6,000 power swing with Sangoro, they do take that. I will swing 6,000 with Zoro Joro. They will take that as well. They've got no counter in hand, folks. I'll swing 5,000 with our leader. Then I'll probably play down the Secret Rare Luffy this turn. There's no way they're going to go for game, so I'm not really worried about having any blockers up. 10,000 into their life now. They will have to take that. Is there a trigger? There's no trigger. We've got a down up for Gum Gum Giant. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them just concede here. There might not be anything else they can do. And that is the case. They concede. GG's. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the games I got for you today. What did you think about them? I don't think this leader is going to be tier 1 in the meta, but like I said earlier, any leader that runs Gum Gum Giant should be feared a little bit. I definitely think he's still a strong leader and worth your consideration playing. If you like the content, consider hitting that subscribe button. Consider leaving a like and a comment. If you made it this far, you're a real one. Shout out to you. Let me know in the comments what other leaders you'd like to see me play. With that being said, have an amazing rest of your day. Peace. But seriously though, don't forget to subscribe.